I didn't really think to make this video prior to trying my fix, but my fix is working, so I thought I would take a video and maybe I could benefit some other folks. So I had this pipe that I had a little leak. It was more than a drip. It was kind of spraying out a little bit. Probably not too high pressure, but pretty decent leak right at the T-joint there on the right hand side. And so I started looking for fixes on the internet, and one of the things I ran across was a fix be gone, which was a little ring that you put around the pipe and glue it in place. And they're only sold on the internet, so I didn't have time to wait for that. So I thought I'd try to make my own, even though I didn't have a lot of hope in it. And so what I did was I took another T-joint and I cut with my hacksaw and Dremel tool. Actually, the Dremel tool cuts a little better. I cut a 1/3 of an inch maybe off the end of the T-joint, and then cut that. You can see right there on the right hand side of that T-joint, that's the little 1/3 of an inch piece of pipe or T-joint that I cut. This is the where I cut my piece of repair pipe out of. Just took a T-joint, and it was the same size as the T-joint in the ground that's leaking, and I just cut this end piece off about 1/3 of an inch to be my repair fix that I would wrap around the pipe. I cut, and then I cut across it so that I could open it up and put it around the pipe. And so I just slid it over. I put it around the pipe. I bent it open, and it didn't break. I was able to bend it open far enough to get it around the pipe, and then I just slid it over here. I slid it over here and put the hot blue glue on the left hand side. It might work better with primer and glue, but I just had the glue, so I just put hot blue glue around here while the little fitting that I made was over on the right hand side. After I got the hot blue glue all in place, I slid the fitting into place, and then I put a clamp on it so that it would clamp tight and hold in place and let it cure for 24 hours. I read some people that had used the leak be gone device that just let it cure for an hour, but that's not what the hot blue glue recommends for full curing. It recommends 24 hours. So I left it on there for 24 hours, and I just turned on my sprinkler system a little while ago to see if the leak was still there. I left it on for 5 minutes and there was no leak. So this seems to have been successful. But just in case, I'm going to back it up with this stuff, Fiber Fix. This stuff is, well, it says right there, it's supposed to harden like steel. It's supposed to be able to fix leaks like this all by itself, really. And so I'm going to wrap this around the pipe. I've kind of prepped the area with having a towel around there, a old t-shirt, so that it won't get dirt in there on top of my fix while I'm working on it. And I'm just going to apply this stuff around the pipe as some extra support for what is already seems like a fixed leak. So maybe this could help some other people to fix a leak in a joint. So this is how I plan to apply the Fiber Fix. I'm going to use this little joint wrap, body joint wrap, for illustration purposes. This is not the joint fix stuff, but pretend this is my T-joint in the ground, and this little blue thing here is the piece of repair pipe that I've put around, that I've glued up against that T-joint. And so my plan is that I'm going to first wrap the Fiber Fix flush up against that repair like this, And my purpose for doing that is just to provide some rigidity from that repair blowing out to the right. And then after I finish that, then I'm going to wrap around. So after I get that wrapped around the pipe once or twice up against that fix, then my plan is to begin to wrap it just around the fixed piece of pipe there. Try not to get it around the T-joint yet, or around the T yet. And my reason for that is just so that I can squeeze that fix tight on there, because that, I believe, is what's providing my leak prevention right now. So I want that to be tight and secure, and then I plan to continue around the pipe, the T-joint pipe. Of course, I'll pull it tight, but this is just for illustration, and continue to wrap this around here and around the pipe. It has recommendations on the box for how many times you go around, and so that's my plan. So there we have it. There's the finished product with the wrap on there, the steel wrap on there. The reason I did this, by the way, put the wrap on, was because I feel like both of the parts were necessary, even though I'm no expert. I felt like both that plastic ring and the wrap were necessary, because if I just put the wrap on, being that it was right at the joint, the wrap is not gonna, I don't think the wrap would snug up right to that joint well enough and cover the pipe that was leaking. That was just my feeling. And so I would think that the water would just build up inside that wrap until the wrap fails. So that's why I put the pipe on there, the piece of pipe on there first, was to cover the pipe and with you know, the hot blue glue and a piece of pipe, and then put the wrap over it just to make sure that the pipe doesn't, that piece of repair pipe doesn't open up or break or separate or whatever and expose the leak again. Why not just leave the piece of pipe on there? I think I just said that is so that why use the wrap basically on top of the pipe if the piece of pipe fix was working, is I was a little afraid that the pressure over time might weaken the glue and open up that little piece of pipe that I put on there for the fix. So hopefully this wrap will, the combination of the two, the little piece of pipe will cover the hole and keep it sealed, and then this piece of wrap will keep that piece of pipe in place, keep that little fixed pipe in place over time, and I won't have any leak. So it says this stuff only takes 15 minutes to cure, which is amazing, but I think I'm going to give it a lot longer before I turn the system on, just to really make sure that it's gotten dried down deep.